We back in the day. We talking about sarcasm in the Bible. Ezekiel 28, verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man. First of all, he calling Ezekiel son of man. Say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, and I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas, which is America. Yet thou art a man and not God, though thou shalt set thy heart as the heart of God. So he's talking about the prince of Tyrus, which is in the middle of America. This is America, right? And he's telling him, bro, you think you a God. You think you sitting in my seat. You think you speaking on my behalf. He said, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. This is sarcasm. Ain't you wiser than Daniel? There is no secret that they can hide from thee. This is the prince of Tyre. Keep this in mind. Of Tyrus. Keep this in mind. And he's telling them, aren't you wiser than Daniel? We can't keep no secrets from you. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. He's saying, you so wise and you got so much understanding. You got rich, you got gold, you got silver. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches. And thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. He's saying, hey, you smart as hell and you did it. Verse 6. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thy heart as the heart of God. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. He's saying you bright, you got all this wisdom. I'm bringing strangers, and they gonna put the sword on your ass. They're coming to bring belt to ass since you think you're God. Right? We can go on, right? But it says, Son of man, verse 12, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. Straight sarcasm, thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. And he named all 12 of the stones. He named a bunch of stones. The workmanship of thy pipes were prepared in the day that thou wast created. Thou art anointed cherubim that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou was upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. Do you understand? This is sarcasm. He's saying, bro, you was a big dog. You was going this way, doing your thing this way. You was going this way, doing your thing that way, right? And then all of a sudden, you got full of yourself. By thy multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence. Now you're violent. And thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God. I will destroy ye, O covering cherubim, from the midst of the stones of fire. Right? He's saying, oh, you was a big dog. You told them people that you was speaking for me. You was a cherub. You said you was a big homie sitting on the mountain of God. And I'm going to use men I'm not going to, as a God, going to come and knock you. I'm going to use men, strangers, and they going to get on your ass and give you the belt. Do you understand? Listen what I'm going to go back up, right? And I'm going to tell you what it say here. Verse 9, 28 and 9. Wast thou yet to say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? Was thou yet to say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? He said, you told these people you were God. I sent regular men to slay you. Now tell that man who's about to kill you that you're a God. See if he believed that. This is sarcasm. He's telling the Prince of Tyre, big homie, you was the big dog. You did all this shit. You had all this gold. You said you was a God. You sat on the holiest mountain. You said you was speaking for God. I'm about to bring regular men to end your life. And I want you to tell the man who's about to slice your fucking head off that you're a God. Tell him right before he take that sword and remove thy head from thy body. This is sarcasm. He said, thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. He said, hey, you had every precious stone. He called them a cherubim because this is what this man, the Prince of Tyre, was on earth claiming. He was claiming all these things. Genesis 6, when it says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, these are regular men, born out of the seed line of Self. Self kids, saw Self sons and grandsons, saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of which they chose. Verse 3 is going to tie it together. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be numbered. His days shall be 120 years. He said, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man. These are the sons of God who people think are angels. You got to understand, this is a man. These are men, the sons and grandsons of Self, who saw women who they shouldn't have been marrying, thought they had nice asses and breasts and were pretty, and they decided to have sex with them. And then they had giants with those women. Sons of God here is just referring, saying Self kids. Because in verse 5, chapter 5, they're breaking down the generations of Adam. They're giving you who the sons of man is in the next verse, which is chapter 6. In the next chapter, which is chapter 6. Stay with me, people. Isaiah 14. We're going Revelations 22 and 16. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am, which is his name, the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. Isaiah 14. All right. Chapter 1. No, we're going to go to Job. He said, I'm the bright and morning star. Right? So when you get to Isaiah 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? He's saying, hey, bro, hey, the saint, look, for the verse 1, I should have just, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, the same person, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right? So he's telling you who his people are, and the strangers aren't his people. Those aren't the strangers, are strangers to God. Right? Strangers are strangers to God. He don't know these people. Right? So the strangers aren't the sons of God people. The sons of God is the people he gonna have mercy on, which is Jacob and Israel. That's who the sons of God are. Follow the bloodline, and you're gonna get back to self. Sick of this. You understand? So when it comes to if you drop down, right, and he's telling, verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? I'm going to verse 9 because he's talking that shit. Listen, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thy at thy coming. It stir up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from the thrones, from all their thrones, and all the kings of the nations. And they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like us? Thy prompt is brought down to the grave, in the noise of thy vows, and the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? He's saying, bro, you was the big dog. You told them people. You killed all those kings. You did all that killing of the kings. And now the kings who you took down, when they see you get took down, they say, how the fuck you? We thought you was the big dog. You told us you was God. How is you down here getting eaten by worms like us? Oh, Lucifer. Right? Son of the morning. You claim to be Jesus. You claim to be the Son of God. Those who say they are Jews and are not. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which you weakened? How are you saying you weakened the ground and now you're in it? O bright and morning star. Verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregations in the sides of the north. He said, I'm going to be in the north. Of course, the North Pole. Of course, that's where the holy mountains and the saints are at. They're at the North Pole. That's besides the point. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. They saying, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. How in the fuck, bro, did you just say that you was going to be ascend above the heights and the clouds and will be like the Most High? Now you in the ground getting eaten by worms. How the hell this happened? Bro, you told us In your heart. You had it in your heart. It was in your spirit. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. That's what you was thinking. Now all of a sudden they put a sword in your ass and you getting eaten by worms. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory. Every one in his own house. All the kings of the nations. Every last one of them in the ground. In their own grave. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. And as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trotting under feet. You dead as hell. You did all that yapping about how you was a god and you killed all these people and the earth was at your mercy, and now you're in the earth that you just told us was at your mercy. Job 38, because I'm tired of talking to y'all. Job 38 and 4. This is God talking to Job. He said, Job, verse 4. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off his dimensions? Surely you know. Surely you know. He know Job don't know. This is called sarcasm. This is sarcasm. This is called what they call being a smart ass. The Bible has, I've given you examples, and the Bible has plenty more. Whether he's just being a smart ass. Since you know everything, tell me this. No, we know you know. You big fucking badass Job. You Job who know everything. Belt the ass. Gave Job the belt. Do you understand? Are we picking up what I'm putting down? Genesis 6 isn't about angels having sex with women. This is about self, kids, and grandkids having sex with non-good women. And Ezekiel 28 is talking about the prince of Tyre, the prince of Tyre, and how he thought he was a big dog. Isaiah 14, Lucifer thought he was a big dog. He's just a man. He's just a man, and you need to understand sarcasm. I'm tired of talking to y'all. I'm out.